the world. I'm turning inside out, yeah. I'm floating around in ecstasy. So don't stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. A shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, go, go. There's no stopping me.
Welcome to bonus session day 6. I am so fired up to be here with you today. I'm Chris Trammell. I am the creator, developer, and head coach of the Author Launchpad. And don't stop us now. Don't stop me. Don't stop you. Do not stop who you are, sharing your gifts, sharing your talents, sharing your expertise with the world. That is exactly why I'm playing this song for you today. I'm not just playing it because I get fired up. This is my #1 walk-up song. I hope you have a walk-up song. Anytime that you go on stage, anytime that you're going on a virtual stage, a real stage, somewhere where you need to bring your state up, right? That's one of the things I learned from Tony Robbins when I was trained in his programs. You got to bring your state up. You got to elevate your energy. You got to be able to carry the room. So let's just let it go.
I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic woman of you. Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey, hey.
Yes, 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 yes. I am so excited to be here with you. It is my pleasure to be here with you today. For those of you that have been with us all 5 days, you've been watching the replays, you've been with us live. It has been an honor to be with you. It has been a privilege to know that you are somebody who wants to make a difference in this world. You are somebody with the gift, the talent, and expertise, life experience that has called you forward to deliver it out to the world. So before I get going, because I get going, I go like that, right? Like you just asked my wife. She just threw me over here in the corner because she knew I was about to do what I had to do, and she lets me go. You need those type of support people around you that know exactly who you are and what you're out to do. So the first things first that I always tell my clients, like one of the things that I do in my programs, I don't just give you templates. Templates matter. I don't just talk at you. Knowledge matters. But I work side by side with you. I have office hours with you. I do implementation with you. And I want you to learn the strategies that are going to help you increase your visibility. So I'm going to go right now onto mobile. And I'm going to find that I should be live. And let's see where. Oh, it's live in the Author Launchpad. So I'm going to go there and make sure that I'm live in the Author Launchpad. Perfect. Let's check the sound. With our Launchpad. So I'm going to go there and make sure that I'm live in the Author Launchpad. The Author Launchpad is live right now. That's perfect. I'm going to copy that link. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to Chris Trammell Coaching. I'm going to go ahead and post it there. Paste, post. So I get that one going. I'm hearing the ringing of the bells right now. So let's see. We got Dr. Jody Bear coming in. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight myself. And that way she does not have to worry about. Let's see. Let's make sure this is part of being live that you got to. I'm going to pin. And now I'm going to let Dr. Jody Bear in. And I'm going to let her know that as she comes in, that she's got a few moments right now before I bring her onto stage. She has a few minutes to just enjoy what I'm doing, getting us launched here right now. And I'm just going to let her enjoy being off camera for just a moment so she could get the sense of what we've been doing here inside of the Author Launchpad. So keep on going here for a second. I just want to make sure that everybody gets this. When you go live, like I usually use StreamYard, every now and then I'll use Zoom because I'm going to invite other people to participate. And so I'm going to take that link and I want to make sure that I'm live everywhere. where people can see me, people can see Dr. Jody, and where it's going to make a difference. So the last place I'm going to go to make sure is I'm going to go to my LinkedIn, which I've got open and ready to go. I'm going to hit post, and I'm going to paste that link right there, paste with my picture. That is ready to go. Boom. Post it. Look at. Here's one of the things I want to invite you to consider. And again, you know, we're going to give you knowledge. We're going to give you information. We're going to tell you how to implement. And we're also going to tell you how to integrate. Be willing to pause so that you can execute those actions that will make a difference for you when you go live. And you need to make sure that your visibility and that your audience is able to get what they came for. One of the things that I see often is people just take off and they don't slow down to make sure that all of the different components are working. And that is part of the mastery that you'll get to learn inside of the Author Launchpad, is to learn to slow down, trust your expertise, trust the difference that you make. So let's go ahead and talk about what was this 5 days that I did this week of how to market and monetize your expertise in 2024, and how I brought on all of these different amazing, truly like amazing authors, speakers, and subject matter experts. So let's go ahead and go right here first. I'm going to share with you the lineup that we had, because we had an extraordinary lineup. Let's go right here. Boom. All right. So this week, again, the pleasure has been all mine, teaching you what it's going to take to market and monetize your nonfiction book, your nonfiction expertise, your knowledge. Like, that's something that has been burning in your belly that says for you to get out there and deliver it. And I brought on the best individuals that I know to help you do that, to kick off 2024 the best way we can. So first person, right out of the gates on Monday, Tim Jacobs. He is an executive ghostwriter. He is an executive publisher. If you are a corporate escapee looking to move forward with how do I go ahead and take that knowledge to, you know, leadership, organizational development, whatever it is, Tim Jacobs did an outstanding job on Monday. Tuesday, Lisa Carroll, one of my co-colleagues, one of my partners, right, where I get to wear the head coach and she assistant coaches. She helps you build those memberships inside of Kajabi. Like I said, many of you might think of it as a book club. Well, in the world of monetization and in this world of technology, your book club can be a membership now. If you have not thought about creating a membership around your expertise, we want to have that conversation. Please make sure that you reach out to Lisa and I so we could start to set you up there. Next one of my favorite people that I got to work with this week, Rafi Andonia. I know Rafi since he was 16. He was actually a student of mine when I was the science department chair and curriculum writer and course developer at Los Angeles Zoo High School. So if you're wondering why I wear these hats of curriculum writer and course developer, is because I did it for 15 years for the Los Angeles Zoo High School so that individuals like Rafi could go out in the world and do what they're great at. He dove into history, he dove into economics, and now he is known around the country as the celebrity historian, talking about how history repeats itself, talking about the things that we're having to resolve amongst our country and how history is now either guiding us or giving us little hiccups. All right, next person. On Thursday, I brought in the authors of Lead It Like Lasso. That's this book right here that you see me holding up. They took the show, Ted Lasso, watched it, binged it over and over and over, and then created a leadership book around Lead It Like Lasso. And it was a phenomenal show. That was on Thursday, listening to how they took their knowledge and they work in the IT consulting space. And they're looking for, here's the important part. They know, as they learned from Ted on this show, reinforcement matters. See, that's one of the big missing sometimes. And you hear gamification. Look, I was an animal trainer. I'm an animal behavior expert. When you hear gamification, essentially it's another word for positive reinforcement. Shout out to B.F. Skinner, right? And inside of that reinforcement, a great leader reinforces the process of other people to develop their leadership over time. That's all that gamification is, right? Is giving rewards for you taking actions and continuing to move ahead. And they're doing it spectacularly at the industrial and organizational level. Yesterday, if you did not make it yesterday, I had Dr. Melvin Allen, who is co-author with his wife on the Allen Method. He is a relationship expert. He is a Myers-Briggs expert, transformation. Like, he holds a space. And one of the things that he talked about is maybe you don't want a big program. I know a lot of authors, they're like, oh, I don't want to talk to a lot of people. Look at, I know you built the muscles of an introvert because you were writing your book all by yourself, maybe next to candlelight like the old authors used to do. But now the opportunity is how do you start to monetize it and get outside of that muscle built self of small communities? Well, Dr. Melvin Allen said, create intimate groups, create intimate workshops, create intimate retreats. You don't have to have these large groups. Just serve to have a really close 50 to 100 people that pay you a high ticket premium price, and you'll live a very good life. Okay, so that's why I also made sure that I had Dr. Melvin Allen on. Now today, we moved it up an hour because this extraordinary human being is going to be sharing with us her knowledge, her expertise, how instead of putting her toes in the sand and enjoying the Keys and the breeze down in Florida, she says, no, I've got a mission in life to still do. And we're going to have Dr. Jody Baer on in just a moment to share about her health journey, why it caused her to become a health expert, how she spoke to NC2A athletes and developed their mindset, and now how she's bringing it all together to create this ecosystem called Healthpedia and a new publishing house for health and wellness experts. I'm telling you, once she comes on, this is why I'm taking up airspace right now, because once she's here, forget it. It's like watching two thoroughbreds run around a track as fast as they can. Okay, so buckle up. I want to share that with you. And all right, perfect. Let me go ahead. And the last part, just a brief about me, and then I'm going to bring Dr. Jody Baer on after I roll out a red carpet for her. Why this week? And again, just quickly, who am I and what do I bring to the table? So I've got the opportunity to work with thousands of individuals in my lifetime. I've been gifted with the passion for coaching. I coached track and field for 25 years. I've coached triathletes. I'm wearing my Ironman shirt today because today is a health and wellness day. So I wanted to make sure I put that on. But one of the things that I was gifted during the pandemic was working with sacred space leaders and individuals who would use words like calling, my mission, my life work, what I'm here to do. And I was gifted with a program that I created called Launch Your Life's Work. And it really is the opportunity for you to declare, what is my life work? There's everything you've been prepared for up to this day, which is your life's work, LIFE''S, the collectiveness. And then there's your life work. Who do you say you are? What do you say you're going to do? What's that promise that you're going to fulfill on in this world? So when it comes time for that great procession that leads to your celebration of life, people say, this person did this and it changed my life. That's how you know. It gives me goosebumps, spirit bumps every time that I say that. So I'm the author of Living Your Life's Work, because it's one thing to declare it. It is another thing to live it. And why did I go ahead and do this? Because I started seeing that there were strengths everybody have. I'm a big fan of Clifton Strengths. I'm a big fan of using Myers-Briggs. I'm a big fan of Brendon Burchard. He's one of my favorites. If you don't know who Brendon Burchard is, you want to make sure you take some time, because we're going to talk about performance today. And Brendon is one of the leading global performance coaches. He's my coach as well. I see him every first of the month here in Los Angeles. Brendan Burchard, Performance Habits. And then you're probably wondering, but Chris, I don't know if I could go live. I don't know how to do this. I don't know tech. What platform should I use? Well, I learned all that from my other coach, Kelly Roach, who developed the Live Launch method. She's extraordinary. She's only about 15 minutes away from where we're going to be in Boca Raton. So I'm looking forward to be able to meet her there. And then, of course, when the pandemic kicked, someone I've always loved to be inspired by, Tony Robbins. I was able to be part of the Tony Robbins Coaching Academy. I loved Tony. And when the opportunity came, I said, you know what, Tony? Well, Tony's trainers, I love all things about him. I'm going to go forge my own path. And here I want you to get that I would have had a steady funnel of clients because he does million, 1.5, 500,000 people launches. That's a great funnel to have. But I wanted to do my thing. I didn't want to do Tony's thing. And that's the opportunity where you see, where do I get to do my thing in this world? Even if it means that you're going to have to hump a little bit harder. You're going to have to crawl a little bit more, stay up late a little bit longer. Well, then part of that, what you got to do is you got to learn how to market yourself. And if you haven't read the 10X Rule, this book reorganized me last year. Just reorganized my thinking about how you can get out there, being who you are, hustling at the level of passion, but using practical steps and tools and methodologies that we all have access to. And that was by Grant Cardone, the 10X Rule. So I highly recommend reading that book. And then, of course, the last one that I believe makes a difference for all of us, and this is part of what Dr. Jody and I are really here to do, is, Joseph Campbell, Pathways to Bliss. You're the hero, you are the heroine, you are the person in your life that you're cheering for. Yes, I know you give to others. Yes, I know that you're committed to family, to community, to the big why that matters to you. But your pathway to bliss is found inside of you, and learning how to put a framework around that, a blueprint around that, so you could deliver it effectively out to the world. And that is why today is one of the most important days that I rearranged it. Like, as a track and field coach, I always knew to bring in my anchors for an event because I could count on them to close and win the race no matter what. And today I have one of the best anchors I could ever hope to bring on. We're talking about Dr. Jody Baer. She is a holistic nutritionist, a certified foundational health coach. I love this part, which I know that I did not say it well before. Her 6 pillars of human existence: spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, social, and financial wellness. She believes that health isn't what you do, it's what you become along life's journey. Right? Didn't we just talk about that? That life journey that lights us up. What did you go out there to learn in your journey? What did you go out there to do? And then you bring it back and then you share it. You don't just type it and put it into a book and hope that the book magically touches people. You have to bring this book to life. That is your mission. So as we talk about Dr. Jody, who's an international best-selling author, including Ignite Your Wisdom, Ignite the Hunger in You. She's been featured with Les Brown. Everybody knows Les Brown. You don't know Les Brown. You got to go find out who Les Brown is. She, like I said, not only does she show up at other NC2A institutions, leading mindship and leadership and motivational programs, but her kids, her own kids, are Olympians as well. And she's also a cancer survivor. And that, there's so much to learn about this extraordinary force for good. I'm going to bring her to the stage now. I think I have done my job at rolling out the red carpet for this beautiful woman, Dr. Jody Baer. Welcome to How to Market and Monetize Your Expertise in 2024. I'm grateful. I'm tongue-tied. Welcome, Dr. Jody.
Tongue-tied too, so we've got that in common. My goodness gracious. I said in my post, and I was a little delayed on it, Chris, I wanted to say, but I said, this is one of my newest besties that I know I will be working on until I graduate from, and really do retire and graduate from work, because that's just what you've meant to me, Chris, at the very beginning. When you find people, as Les Brown says, a community of like-minded, achievement-driven leaders, you don't go away from that tribe. When you can absolutely have 100% integrity that you're going to be there no matter what. I am so delighted that I get to meet you in Boca in person, you and your beautiful wife. It is going, and by the way, we need to get Kelly there. Would love to have her as part of this. Think about it, because what we do and all of this is great. And I love the accolades. But what I want to say, and I'm the anchor. I've only got my pen, but I got the relay. I got the relay. And the
We
relay
are going.
yes, the relay baton is this, Chris.
Yes.
No matter what you're doing, if you're writing a book, if you're doing this, whatever you're learning, if you are not at full capacity, if you are not in optimal health, then how can you do it?
Yes.
How can you do it?
Correct.
And I've had, no one is perfect. I've had a couple of bumps along the road, but in those bumps, I've learned. And you always, when you know better, you do better, Chris. That's just the way it is. I'm known as America's top foundational health coach. I will say that I'm honored in my conventional practice, Chris, to have had 30,000, maybe 300,000, I don't know, but 30,000 people actually lose 1.1 million pounds of toxic
Wow.
chemicals. They kept it off. They kept it up because we went down foundationally. Then what happened? I was 66. I was going to retire. I sold my practice. I knew nothing about if you're out there as an author and you say, I don't know Zoom from Boom. I don't know StreamYard from the backyard. I'm here to tell you, I'm a baby boomer. I'm turning 70 next month. I knew nothing but a brick and mortar office, but I learned how to be click and order, to do this in telemedicine because of my husband, who said to me, when the pandemic hits, you've always got one cheerleader, like you've got Chris. And what did he say to me? People need you. If you're somebody that's sitting on your story out there, the story that you're sitting on, somebody is waiting on. It could change a life. It could change a business. It could change a soul, as Dr. Peggy Wood says. Wonderful, wonderful angel that helped us in the first round of Healthopedia. But I know this for sure, and I want to come back to this point. You need that one person that absolutely is your cheerleader. And he looked at me, said, you know, I've read the book too. He was talking about Think and Grow Rich, because I said, I'm too old. I'm retiring. I'm. And he said, when you get to 57, Jody, there's no 58 alibi. There's not the 58th excuse. People need you. Just how much yoga are you going to do? See, people need you, but people, Chris, need you big time. I have never seen someone that has put together a program that I'm so excited about releasing book number 2.0 after Healthopedia Foundations, as we're talking about it, to The Essence of a Woman, that are anchor author. We've gone from Bernie Siegel. Yes, there it is. And yes, this is the hardcover. This is the hardcover that was coming next month to a bookstore near you.
Oh my God, yes.
And going and guaranteeing it to be New York Times bestseller. But even after that, what do you do? The what is, you need CT for you to be all that you can be.
I'll take that. I'll take
why
that to the
is
bank.
that? Why is that? Because The Essence of a Woman is another book. I'm honored to say that Muhammad Ali's wife is our anchor author. We're launching it right now, and we will be debuting this book in an official book launch on the 8th of August. But in that meantime, I talk about concept to creation. This is how I'm anchoring you, Chris. Okay. I hope you like this. Tell me if I'm doing good. But after we do concept to creation, now I'm a speaker that's certified by the NSA. I've done corporate training. I've done corporate coaching, but maybe they haven't seen this, that this book in May, my solo book, which was, thank you. I just love it. I just love you. And I love my pictures, Chris.
I
What
can't wait
happened-
to help you create the program and the course and re-energize this, because I know
Oh.
this will transform lives, more
Oh,
lives.
no, it's already going to be a membership. I heard you. Remember, I know when to coach and when to be coachable. I was jotting down notes backstage. I know what we're going to do with this membership. But you see, with as much as I've got going on, I have been too busy. So now Chris comes in my life. So if you're like what I've done, launching 3 books in a year. Did I say 3?
So
3
now
books.
3.
Yes, 3. 3 books in a year.
What's
I
the
was-
third?
It was Ignite Your Faith, which I was an anthology, but there was a lot of work to do with that chapter.
Yes.
But then creating a company, Healthopedia, you might be like me and say, I don't have enough hours in the day. Your extra hours in the day are Chris Trammell. Because we go as a publishing house, taking health books from concept to creation. But then what are we doing? We're employing that next level to come in, just like you need a graphics team, just like you need this, that, and the other. You need to have, I said, I'm going to be one of these people up on stage that I'm going to say, this is my book. But do you want to do $5 on a book, or do you want to do 5,000? You see,
Right.
I took you on my show and you were such a great guest. I just had too much fun. And that was my 4th podcast of the day.
You're
Because we're
such an energizer bunny of goodness.
Why is that? We're going to come back to that, Chris. But the
Yes.
reason I can be an energizer goodness in this is because I practice what I preach.
Mm.
So if you maybe have had a roadblock with your health, maybe COVID wasn't good to you, reach out to me, because we can show you in Boca, as we say, health isn't some didactic thing that you do, but it's what you become along life's journey. And when you become health, when you become that thing which you must need to do. I can tell you what happened yesterday. Chris, my esteemed partner, my guru, my coach, Dr. Jim Marinakis of nearly
Yes.
2 decades, his mother passed yesterday
Oh,
at
Dr.
99 3/4 old. And she said, I just need to get all my kids around because I think I'm ready to go. She went to bed and she fell asleep. Isn't that beautiful? Because why? She had her son be the guru, and he taught her health until her graduation day.
Wow.
That is what we're going to do in Boca. This is what I teach you in these 21 days that you can do to be your best you in 6 pillars of health. But I want to not advertise about me. I want to talk about what you have done this week. Okay. As an, nobody done this that does it. No. You're not getting my microphone yet. No, nobody does this unless they're a true Ironman. As they say, is the marathon 26 miles? No, it's 26.2. Oh, do you run, bike, and swim? Yes. Do you give up until you go to the tape? No, as we said as swimmers, you don't go to the wall, you go through it.
That's right.
Went through it. You went Monday through Friday, and then you had me on Saturday. You have gone through the tape. So I am honored to say that Healthopedia Incorporated, Healthopedia Publishing, is adding on the option of doing, do you want to do basic, or do you want to do deluxe the whole way? Concept to creation. And you know what I'm calling it, Chris?
Awesome.
This is the first time I've said it.
I
We're
love
going to
this.
do the 3 C's. We're going to go concept, creation to Chris.
Yes. Yes.
How do you like that?
I love it. I love it, Dr. Jody. And I'm honored because there's the Chris, the skin bag called Chris, who likes it. And then there's Chris, who has a promise in this world that people deliver their life work, that people show up and they clear out all the stuff that has stopped them from believing and trusting who they are, owning their expertise and delivering that to the world. So when I say I'm excited, it's really my promise, my commitment, my assignment, that big universal spiritual assignment that I was given in this lifetime, which is, Chris, your job is to give people podium moments in their life, to put them on platforms that's going to allow them to unleash their passion. That's your job. Go do your thing, kid. And then push me into the deep water called this mortal journey. And now I found my stroke. And I'm just swimming along, and there's everybody just pulling along behind me in the wake, because every swimmer knows if you get someone else's wake and slipstream, that is the best way to go. And I'm going to keep being that tip of the arrow for everybody else to unleash
You
their
move those
expertise.
hips. You move those hips. And when you keep moving those hips, it's not about the arms. It's not about what you reach. It's what you do with your hips behind the scenes. You do the hips behind the scenes. I'm sorry,
That's
we're just having a love fest here, everybody, because we have this lingo between us. But isn't it true? You might
Yes.
have this vision. You might have something that you want to do, but how do you do that? How do you do the thing that you were destined to do? I'm telling you, you cannot do it without feeling your best. Then you will do your best. Because I didn't know when I was 44 years old, I thought it was, what did I have going on? I had two boys, nationally world ranked. They were swimmers, teenagers. We were going, I put on 85,000 miles on my car in 1 year.
Wow.
That's just the kind of life we had. But I was traveling as an executive. I had, even with teenagers, you have a nanny in the house, okay? And and that's just what you do as a single mom, soul support. But it was how I was managing that, because I was doing too much for others. I contracted stage 4 cancer, and it changed my life. Because guess who came into my life? Dr. James Marinakis, worldwide physician. And that was someone who I can say 40 years ago was gifted enough with 35,000 patients, all by referral. That's the kind of healer and gift he had, Chris, that he was the Olympic team physician for Sarajevo in 1984. I attracted him into my life. I changed just a few things, but those few things I've changed made me those 10 rituals to rock your day. You can find that blog. I should have made it a pay for blog, but it is 10 rituals to rock your day. You do those in your routine every day. So you see billionaires. Absolutely.
I could create it as a lead magnet course for you. I know a guy who could do something with that for you.
Is there somebody that could do that? I think I know him. He's from creation to concept to Chris. Yeah, I know that guy. You all have those things in you. But those 10 things, I'm just going to say I'm honored. We've got your graphics going for Boca. You're going to be there with us. You're going to be with some of the most amazing people in this room.
Yeah.
In this room, this is what we're going to be doing February 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, 2024.
Wow.
I can tell you we have 20 seats remaining. Those will fill up this week. Why is this important? Because number one, you're going to get to meet Chris. But number two, you're going to be able to craft that thing that will make all the difference for you, because you want $5 or you want 5,000. I know at turning 70, I just want cash.
Right? Absolutely. And let's take that. Okay. We're neck and neck in this horse race we got for an hour. And so let's make sure we don't throw our jockeys off. Let's look back to make sure there's still people with us.
Yeah.
All right. So let's for other authors that are now starting to get who you are and the difference that we make. Let's make sure that we do talk about the author book process, because there's people here that they're seeing us for the first time, that maybe they searched us, they're finding us on YouTube. They're like, what? I want to be a health and wellness coach and I'm ready to write my book. And this is the first time they're seeing it, or they're intermediate stage. So talk to me about, let's go with the really like the practicing, the thing that no one sees when you flick on the lights and you dive in the pool and you're all by yourself. How was your book writing and editing process? Let's go to like the brass tacks where no one else is looking, because most of the time all people see is us celebrating, look, I got a book. but
Yes.
they don't see what went into it and how many no's we had to give to people because we had something to do. So talk to me about your intimate book writing, book editing process.
Okay, I think that's a beautiful question, Chris, because I had never written anything before COVID except professional journals.
Mm,
Hadn't written anything, but I knew the process of being a classically trained vocal musician, classically trained pianist. Nobody saw me when it was cold in Montana, getting up at 10 years of age and do 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 do
right?
do do. Nobody saw that. That's where success is behind the scenes. When
Yes.
I gave that journey, I'm thinking I've already been a very successful corporate trainer with the NCAAs, with the government, all this. I think I can talk, I can write.
Yeah.
I just decided I had that self-talk with me and me. And I realized I had stories to tell. So I started not diving into the deep end. I put my toe into the water. That's when I got reacquainted with Les Brown. He's been a game changer. And yes, he will be in Boca with us, getting his lifetime achievement.
Oh, wow.
And so it'll be Dr. Kalila and Dr. Honorable. He's an honorary doctorate, Les Brown. But this is what I know. I got the bug. And then I thought to myself, what else do you have in there? I knew my 42 years of being a health coach, not only like a mompreneur with mops when the babies were small, because I started health coaching. Why? For one reason. I was expecting Carl, my firstborn, and guess what? I knew that the breast milk was the best milk. I wasn't even a certified,
Right.
but you could see me having no filter in my mouth, couldn't you, Chris? I walked into my first little H League meeting with a bun in the oven. I said, looked over to the table, and it was like brownies, Coca-Cola, nachos. And I said, and we're putting this in this? I did not know that the international president was right there. Do not go over those places, ladies and gentlemen, that are those miracles occur every day. Beckon them in. That's my quote in Healthopedia, because this woman came over. She said, well, if you're so good, why don't you do something about it? Never give Jody a challenge. I got my first health coaching certificate. I got into the nutrition of the expectant and the breastfeeding mom. And these protocols, it's the first thing I ever wrote, besides my master's degree, my dissertation. And that wasn't my dissertation, it was my thesis. I wrote the protocols for La Leche League International that still 44 years later, Chris, are part of their curriculum and their guidelines. And I was hooked. I was hooked.
I remember reading them. I didn't know that. When my son, who when he was born, he had what a lot of babies have. He had a lazy tongue, so he wouldn't latch on well. And we worked with the La Leche League, and all the moms have a try this, but I remember that part of the La Leche League came around until the young guy figured it out. How many times did we have to push on his tongue until he figured it out?
Yes, just push. But opportunity, like the tongue, just push in the deal. Then after COVID happened,
iterate to put it into practice in business terms.
Yes, I just iterate, push, iterate, but pause to take those breaks. And when I thought to myself, I can do this at 21 days to your best you. So my dissertation became a book because my husband, again, when I said, during COVID, because I'm not one to watch Netflix, I thought, do you think I can go ahead and write a book out of my dissertation like you did? Because he is an Oxford PhD. Pretty proud of my husband. And he said,
wow.
So
really?
He said, yes, the ancient Spanish monastery of William Randolph Hearst, oldest building in North America, not in St. Augustine, it's the 12th century, was discovered, created by my husband. So he said to me, a little plug for him, and he said, well, it's better than being a very large placemat on our dining room table. That was his way of saying yes. and then the other thing, then I started using these same 21 days, because you know that you can make a break or habit in any 21 days. This is why if you're watching this 6 with Chris, do your homework on day 7 and you continue with some of the practices that only you've learned from him, our other 6 people, and you do it for 21 days. It's just not a habit. You see, we are frequency beings. It's just not women. They're on a cycle in 21 days. We are all human beings are on a frequency cycle. When you do one of these every day for 21 days, it will change your life. And I'm
Now-
having such a great time with this. Now what? I'm sorry. I will
I
pause.
love you. I love you. It's perfect. This is perfect. Okay. This is great. This is absolutely perfect because I also want to make sure people are able to, there's the ahas that we all get hooked in. Like,
Mhm.
oh, aha, light went on. But it's the actions and the application that make a difference to people. And this
Yeah.
is where most of all the gurus and most of all the stage speakers leave people is in the ahas. But it's the experts, the committed, promised forward experts that say, look at now, these are the actions. This is how you implement it. So I want to take some time to do the actions. In my program, this is great because we're going to talk about yours and in the kind of in the framing of mine.
Yes.
Let's do it this way. Inside of the Author Launchpad and creating a revenue roadmap that is directly born of the expertise and the knowledge that each and every author brings, I distilled down that these were the 3 things that I saw most published authors or about to publish authors were stuck at. They would publish a book and I'd say, okay, great. Do you have an audience? I published a book. Okay, great. Do you have a program around? I published a book. Great. Do you have a business model around? I published a book. Okay, great. I got it. You published a book. So first thing that I asked them to do is, what are we going to package from that book? I turned it into 3 phases because Power of Threes, right? We got 3 Blind Mice, 3 Musketeers, the Trinity. Like the Power of Threes is what marketing and what our brains like. So I said, okay, the 3 are, we're going to package that expertise out of your book. And that's my first step is expertise. The second step is, what are we going to market? How are we going to market it? And that's where I go in and I do the done for you work. Because here's the other thing. Authors aren't tech. Authors do not want to spend time figuring out what's the best platform. How do I create a VSL? What am I going to, they just don't know it. So look, come to me and my team have the templates, the processes. So market, and the third thing is monetize. So Dr. Jody, inside of the 21 days, do you feel that there's like core phases of your 21-day journey? Let me just try and see if like, or I know that we got our 6 pillars, but what are,
Right.
Does it feel like there's phases or are all the pillars being
These 6 pillars are something that I started way back with my first health coaching certification. I found it. This came all the way to my dissertation. So the 6 pillars of foundational health are all in the 21 days. You'll find them in what we called it spiritual tidbit, mental tidbit. And what I did was make an ebook. I didn't monetize this by a DIY, but I want to come back to this with you. I monetized it and I made it for if you were going to run, you were going to do this, you're going to do that. And then I really want to go to Healthopedia because this is my baby, something you don't even know. Because you're going to help me after Boca. We're going to go ahead and do, and I'm going to tell on me. Okay, may I? About a DIY rather than a DFY, done for you, or DIY, do it yourself. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. This book took off like crazy. All right. But I'm going to tell you what I did before then. I did do an ebook that I monetized. Okay. And it was it's just called 21 Day Wisdom Tidbits. And it's $4.99 and I get a residual check every month. But that's all I did because you see, this happened in May. We sold 1.1 million downloads or copies of on Amazon in 5 days.
Dr. Jody, bravo!
I didn't know that what I was learning back at La Leche League in 1979 had come to fruition. I knew if I hung around long enough that it'd be there. Okay, but this was a problem because I'm going, then some people had heard about the story about what I said about Healthopedia. Chris, they'd heard about the story that it started in, and I want to give Shine mentioned my first son. This is Shine to my second son. I'm just going to take a 30-minute clip on how Healthopedia was born, because this was born on top of the 21 days. I
Yes.
got really, really busy. I didn't have the structure in place because I didn't have Chris. And I was doing a DIY like people do. Because, but is DIY better than DFI done for you? Always go with the DFY because they've laid out the path. And then I had 100 people that wanted to do something with me in the middle of the 21 days to your best you. What did I end up doing? I ended up having to go ahead and do this mastermind. It was problematic because my head was not in it because I did it DIY. It was, but people hung in there with me. But I promised those 100 people, just hang in there with me after Boca. We're going to do it the right way because we're doing modules. We're going to go ahead and do that recorded program that can be something for everyone forever, and it will be evergreen. See, you can do this and make it another vertical, because what happened with me, people started coming to me when they heard the story about Healthopedia. Said, have Healthopedia, the YouTube channel, Healthopedia, the TV station, and then and on Traverse TV, and then Healthopedia on Instagram. And they said, why don't we do a book together? Some of those Ignite Faith authors, I guess. Right. So you see, Chris, because if you have a vision, and I'll end this with this, if you have a vision in your heart, you've written it, as Habakkuk in the good book says, on tablets of stone. We just now visualize, verbalize, or we put it in our computer. I was helping a client who had a son that was off the chain. Is it all right if I shared a little bit with this, Chris?
Absolutely. Share it.
Guess what? I was just here to serve and help. I've always done health. It's what I do because it's who I am. I always went ahead after I got through my epiphany with stage 4 cancer that I said, a thriver. I thrive now because I know what to do. I thrive in helping people because you're a helper, Chris, you just are. What happened with this client of mine that said his son was off the rails? You don't want to give somebody a diagnosis. I was looking through old notes and I found on ADHD, I found the notes from Dr. Hulda Clark, who I was mentored by when I was 30. And out fell the gold card. And it said, I will pen the Eastern medical version of the PDR, which is just the red book in every Western medical.
That's right, the compendium.
And see, what happened was I wrote it on that gold card only after I found and was attracted to Dr. Hulda Clark from the Phil Donahue show. My son and I, in pre-kindergarten, I said, I will find her. I turned into a female Indiana Jones, as I said on your other broadcast, and I found her because I went up to Alpharetta, was living in Atlanta at the time, and I looked for every person that was wearing Birkenstocks, a woman who was wearing no makeup or didn't dye her hair. I knew I'd find her, and I did. And you see, she was moved by my son, who was awfully cute. He said, Mommy, what am I supposed to do when I get to the door? I said, I'm going to squeeze your shoulder, and you just smile. She let us in because he was diagnosed. As Les Brown says, your diagnosis is not your prognosis. The next thing, I asked Dr. Hulda Clark after when she helped my son, and I said, I must be mentored by you. See, ladies and gentlemen, you have a must. If you're an author, you must be coached and mentored by this man. He knows his stuff. He knows what to do. He will pave and show the way 1,000,000%. I wouldn't be turning my new company and my 40 authors and recommending him for nothing. Oh, no, 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 I won't. You see what happened. Hulda Clark was 70. She said to almost 30-year-old Jody, but I'm retired. And I said, but what if I am the person to take your message to the world long after you're gone? So when you pick up this book, Healthopedia, now I'm the age of Hulda Clark turning 70. Wow. I am. And so the older people are mentoring the younger millennials on this book. So who do you know as a woman of essence? I hope it's all right if I say this. We have 6 positions to be with Muhammad Ali's wife for our 40. Does it call to you? Because not only are we going to create, we're going to do a concept. Then we're going to do Chris to monetize and take your message to the world, maybe then I'll be done. But you know, Chris, maybe not. Because what you do for people, I already know. I feel it in my soul. What you already do, you exemplify what my husband says. See, I get all excited. And when I knew that we'd launched it, I said, this is what we done. This. And then he came into the house. You see, my husband is an archaeologist. He's a marine archaeologist. And I
Really?
said, yes. And I said, so how was your day? And he said, well, we found the 12th ship of the Trinity off the coast of Melbourne, the Concepcion. And I looked
What?
at him. He will just be so low key, but that. And then he looked at me, and he said, "I said, why didn't you tell me first?" See, Chris is like my husband Bob, because he said to me at that point, "Sugar, I didn't have to get all excited about it. It's that still confidence." He said, and it's all right if I got all excited because it was
Yeah.
the first. But he said, "When you're the best, people will feel you." People feel you, Chris. When you're the best, people will feel you that, oh, yes, I did not one or two Ironmans. Oh, as Bob Bear said, how did he find the Concepcion? Because he went down to Havana and found the crest, not only of the king's wife, it was the mistress. He goes, you guys missed this. He had his wife, but that mistress must have been a hell of a woman. And they
Wow.
matched up the plate in the wreckage. And that's how they found it. Because
Oh,
when you're the best, people will feel. You see, Chris is detailed enough to know how his arms and hips go. He knows his stride. He knows how to pedal and draft and all of those things. So he will make sure that your details come to life. DFY. That's what I got to say.
yes to all of that, Dr. Jody. Yes to all of that. And Bob, I cannot wait to hang out with you, have a drink with you. Thank you for allowing me to have this virtual love affair with your wife. My hugs will be of love of gratitude, and I'll give you just as big of a hug too when I get to meet you in Boca Raton, Florida.
Because you know what happens, Chris? People want to meet me. That's my secret sauce. They just want to hang around Bob.
Yeah, well, you Midwesterners are good like that. That's why I married one. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's take it back to the $1 million M&Ms for just a moment, because we're you know, the flight attendants are going to be telling us to put up our trays
Oh,
and ready for
yes.
descent
Yes.
soon.
The M&Ms. Let's go.
$1 million M&Ms, marketing and monetization.
Yes.
I could have been just any old guy with a service coming, and you're like, you know what? No, marketing and monetization, blah. People don't need that. But you heard something. So why does marketing and monetization matter to the current climate of expert and nonfiction authors? Because so many of them would give it, they want to give it to a publisher. They want to give it to PR and say, you do something, because they don't want skin in the game. But the world has shifted. It's counting on us to deliver. So the $1 million M&Ms, marketing and monetization. Why did you hear something? You're like, that is just like an extra nutrient. It's the extra something that causes the breakthrough. What did you hear?
I can tell you what I heard, because money is just an energy transfer. And that financial pillar, it's just a transfer of money. If people get it for free, they have no value.
Yeah.
There's no value there. A publisher didn't have the gold card in 1984. He didn't have that. They don't have that same passion. They go through the drill and they take a percentage, and it's usually really hefty. Why not do it yourself? Why not do the monetization? Why not? And what I'm so happy, and I'm going to back up to this, because next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday on the 31st, we're targeting our new vertical in Healthopedia Incorporated. We are calling it Healthopedia Elite. So we're starting out with 3 solo authors. What do you think I'm going to add to this? It's going to be the 3 C's. My first Zoom with these wonderful solo authors, because it's concept, creation, and Chris. Then we get into the monetization, because they already know that I have a concept, you have a need. Money comes from other people's pockets. If you don't have the marketing, they'll never know what you have.
No.
Because then your children and grandchildren will find this book and say, I didn't know mom and grandma wrote this. It was like what my oldest son said to me in Orlando, because they were here from Michigan over last weekend. And when I was able to hand my oldest granddaughter this book, she goes, wow, this is cool. And he goes, my son is very short on words. He had to be. He was my son. I talked all the time. And he goes, impressive. No, really impressive. Don't tell me you went all in again. I said, yes, it's the only thing I know how to do. So get into that all in, get into that thing that you must do, because without marketing, you're not going to make any money. And I don't know about you, choose not to be like Chevy Chase in that movie. And I don't watch movies. Said, I'm a motivational speaker sitting by the side of the road in a used bus. Oh, no. I live in Mission Inn. I want nice things, because as you get older, it's not your good looks. It's not your good kids. It's not your husband. It's not your career. It's just about money. That's why the M&Ms are so important.
Yes. Thank you for that. And I want you to have one more piece, because this part matters and you know it. And this is where I think people have the passion. They have purpose, which I say, it's not just purpose. Purpose could be like my red pen. It has a purpose. It writes in red. But what's the promise that is born out of the purpose? And then there's performance. Why does performance matter to these nonfiction and expert authors? Because you have been around the world of performance. I would say Healthopedia helps people perform in the areas of life that matter to them.
Yes.
So for authors who have built the muscles of the keyboard and smarts, and we know smarts doesn't translate, why does performance matter, Dr. Jody?
It's the only thing. See, if you don't have results, guess what? You have excuses. It's just as simple as that. You've got results or excuses. And guess what? You put excuses before results, then you're going to end up in the ER, in one of the six pillars of human existence. And it's usually the financial pillar. It's just the way it is, because it didn't matter that I practiced little Jody back in Montana. And I talk about it in the 21 days to your best you. I would get up at 7 a.m. and my sister still sleeps to this day with a pillow over her head. I can't imagine why. She had to listen to me practice the piano. But if I just practiced and I didn't enter a performance to see how well I practiced, what good is it?
Yes.
You've left your dream unsung. You've left your message in the closet, just like those books that ended up that you wrote that one day. And I said on our podcast, I probably said it on your previous show, that it was like, oh, is this a towel? Is this a quilt? Oh, no, it's this lumpy thing. Oh, it's my book. Did you want it to be there as a promise? Or do you want to perform what you were destined to do? Write your own goal card, not in 1984. Spend some time Sunday, write your goal card that says, I can, I will, I must. January 28, 2024, which truly, truly is, if you think about it, what's 6 and 10? Then you put it in numerology, that number is 7. That is divine number. You will get your message from the creator of all on your 7th day. Write your goal card on Sunday, and then go to the expert, DFY, not DIY, because time and money are never the issue. It's only a measurement of value. Time that I put into the DIY, because I didn't know Chris. Time that you put the time in you so you can be the best that you can be, because you came on this broadcast and guess what? You saw Dr. J and CT. It's Dr. Jody CT.
All right. So let's anchor to where we want people to go. If you have not had the opportunity to register for Healthopedia Symposium and Summit, this is your opportunity to. It's Healthopedia365.com. I'm going to make sure it's in all the links that go
Thank
out
you.
today.
Thank you.
Dr. Jody, let's see, what else do you want them to know to be able to register, and where is it located at? Any information you want to share about this, please?
Thank you. Well, first of all, you're going to get to meet CT there. But this is Dr. Jim Marinakis, who came to me, my guru and my teacher, after we successfully launched this on Amazon in 3.5 hours in all 13 markets. And he said, will you be my partner? It was the opportunity of a lifetime. Just say yes. Just say yes to Chris. Just say yes to us. Where are you going? We're going to Boca Raton, Florida, at the Wyndham Hotel. Dr. James Marinakis, for this kind of a 3-day event, gets and receives up to $30,000 minimum from his clients. All right, that's just the way it is. You can see him, all meals included, for $19.95. But if you heard this on this broadcast, DM me and I'll give you a special CT discount. Why? Because they're going to be speakers and trainers. It's not like any other summit. What it is, oh, you're just so good. And yes, Bernie will be there virtually. But what this is, Healthopedia 365, why learn about health when you can experience it? You're going to learn the experience of health. You see, the process that Dr. Jim put me through is the foundation underneath, the beams, and the roof. That's what we're doing. He is the drywall, bringing this process to you. What is your vision? What is your dream? If you knew that you could be in the room and learn what you need to learn about you to take care of you on a daily, simple things, but people don't know what those simple things until you know that you know. Then you go ahead and you practice those. What will your book be like? What will your legal practice be like? What will your speaking be like? What will your entrepreneur life be? Because you're going to put yourself, I'm just going to say on Thursday, did I tell you I did 7 podcasts and 2 TV shows? It was a big day.
You're amazing.
And I did the things at 7-0 that Dr. Jim has taught me to do when you have one of those large days. And I woke up fresh on Friday. What price is that? What price are you? Join us in Boca. Your life will never be the same, because if you go to my Instagram, Healthopedia 365, this is what I'm going to end with, because we're running just like you ran, all of those triathletes that you ran with your son at the University of Utah and doing all that. And you can see Dr. Jim is 73, I'm 70, and he's got a Speedo on. Okay, you remember those legs, the Speedo on, and I've got a bikini, and we're saying, if you want what we have, do what we do to get what we got. This is what 70 looks like, because energy creates vitality, which transcends to longevity. I'm living proof. But if I can do it, you can do it too.
You know, on that Speedo and on that bikini, and ladies and gentlemen, we are going to finish in a moment. Here's one of the things I do with my clients is I ask them to go back into their life journeys and start to look for some of those pivotal moments, some of those pivotal memories. I remember watching Jack LaLanne.
Yes.
I remember watching his infomercials and watching, he'd always wear that tight blue suit. He was short. Yes. He was always had his muscles. And then when he was either 70 or 80, he dives into the San Francisco Bay and tows, I think it's like 10 little rowing boats, and he's out there swimming. And I thought, there is no way I'm not going to use this body vehicle to make a difference in the world, whether it's through coaching, it's raising thousands of dollars for the John Wayne Cancer Foundation. That's what I've done both times that I've raced. For those of you that watch this later on, look, I want you to race for yourself, but here's what's going to have you always finish and make the difference. Go race for a foundation. Use your legs, use your feet, use your energy to raise money for those who can't. Because if you really get, do Dr. Jody and I have services? Yes, we do. But I want you to hear this. Most importantly, we are creating philanthropists and difference makers out in the world. But you can't be a philanthropist and you can't be a difference maker if you do not have a recurring revenue stream that allows you to give your 10%, to give your knowledge and expertise to be the board of something.
Mhm.
But if you don't build that framework, that foundation, that blueprint, because I know you think you have one, but once I get in there, it's kind of duct taped together and you're not sure, the wind blows and you change strategies. No, we know championship strategies. We've built it into our programs. And that's why today you saw my anchor, Dr. Jody Baer, run all the way through the tape. And just like you're going to do your part with her, and then she's going to hand you off to me, and I'm going to run you all the way through to the next finish line.
Chris,
That's
that
what we
is
do.
so true. Because before I met you, may I say just one other thing?
Please.
All right. Audience, take your hand, put it on your heart, feel your heartbeat.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, your right hand. Then take your left, put it over your right. Your heart beats stronger. You see, Chris, this is what you've done with Healthopedia and my authors, because we need each other. Thank you from my Healthopedia bottom of my heart.
Dr. Jody, it's been an honor and a pleasure. And again, shout out to Manny Lopez. You created this network. You allowed for this connection. Continue to do the work that you do. And most importantly, Dr. Jody, I acknowledge you for the force for good that you are, for all the lives that you touch directly, and for all the lives that might never know that it was you that caused the difference in their life because of who someone else unleashed themselves to be, who someone else that lived 5-10 years longer because of the health that you provided them, so they were able to do something in family, in community, in industry that wouldn't have happened if you did not say, kids, hubby, friends, I got to go do this. And I just really acknowledge you for who you are in the world. I can't wait to give you a real hug when we get there. And for everybody who's part of her ecosystem, look, I can't announce on air, but I'm going to tell you this. In June, my program is going up to $5,500. It's almost,
Do it now.
It's close to half. If you register and you're part of Dr. Jody's ecosystem, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I can't make it any easier. Your one client will pay for my program and attending her summit. That's it. And our goal is that you have 5 to 10 clients. It transforms lives. Register today. Reach out to Dr. Jody. Reach out to me. We'll set you up. And with that, Dr. Jody, let's how about we land this plane and give everybody a big, what was that show they used to, was that the dating show?
Yes, it was the dating game. We're virtually dating.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chris Trammell, the author of Launchpad. It has been a pleasure. It is of service of my highest purpose to help authors, experts, and speakers, and whoever you are, to just take your gift, monetize it, get it out to the world so you could really feel the difference you're out to make, because you might be the next one that is shoulder to shoulder with Dr. Jody, or you're leading in another industry, but that's who we are. We thank you for your time. We thank you for your listening. If you watch this in a replay somewhere, healthopedia365.com, or you could go to the authorlaunchpad.com and reach out to me. And with that being said, we love you. Shine your light, and we will see you in Boca Raton, Florida. Bye for now.